Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Life Discussions with Dr. Jefferson, you guys. I'm your host, Dr. Jefferson. And hey, Joy, what's going on? Today, we're going to have a discussion about personal autonomy, right? Here you go. I'm going to give you guys some tips to achieve personal autonomy. And personal autonomy does apply to overall autonomy in life in general. And I'm gonna put these up on the screen as I go. So as you guys come in, don't forget to say hello. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget for you to also hit the notification bell so that you can get notifications as we move on through the show, etc. I hope everybody is well. I know I was on earlier, and to be honest with you, this is kind of like an elaboration because before I was even asked to do that show to review and to talk about the loss of Frankie, I was asked to give people in the black community kind of like some basic standards that I would give people in therapy as to how they can reconstruct their life when they're struggling with autonomy. And for those of you who don't understand what autonomy is us coming into a place of acceptance in life after we've been through several different accounts in life that we perceive to be negative, positive. We may feel indifferent to those particular experience in life. And some of those experiences leave us pretty unsettled or pretty insecure in where we are seated in life. And as a result, we don't feel like we're worth much. You understand? And so we see these particular experiences as detrimental to security and our sense of self and everything that we intend to embark upon in life. Some people even find themselves constantly weighed down with the realities of their past, and we talked earlier about some of the difficulties that we have as people that identify with black and brown community and heritage when it comes to acceptance, right? We have a problem with accepting what is there, even when we have done our work and, reflected on self and we can see what the things are, but we refuse to identify with the things. So just being able to see negative behaviors, just being able to see life unfold and our experiences unfold and being able to kind of see them in their authenticity doesn't mean that we have a choice in how we currently see ourselves. Because the thing is, when trauma is associated heavily with what we're seeing, if us seeing ourselves in these moments and seeing these moments in ourselves or in our lives trigger trauma or past behaviors or past experiences that were detrimental to us in some type of way, we're going to move away from accepting those particular things. So what I am encouraging people to do is sit in a place to where you can be more productive in the way that your life pans out as a means to seeing yourself in a greater capacity, or channeling that internal energy that allows you to kind of come full circle, because the experiences that we have that lead us down this very dark path of exploration as a result of those traumas, as a result of those experiences not necessarily yielding the best fruits of our lives or positive experiences or positive impacts and spiritual energy in our life, we can definitely go down a rabbit hole and we can find ourselves having these empty arguments with people who've done nothing to us but tried to add value to us, but they can't add value because we are too empty. We are too empty. So what I want you guys to do today is to try to sit with some of this that I have for you guys. And maybe we can find some viable answers as to how we can kind of be the change that we would like to see, not only in our environment, but the way that the regular components of non-black and brown people, right, interact with us, right? Because we want to see a change in that. When we say that our people are targeted, when we say that we are perceived as aggressive, when we say that our children are potential hashtags when they go out of the door, When we train our kids to go in that way, we're training our kids based off of very broken elements in us, based off of negative interactions that we've experienced or we've observed. And that's trauma. So that's teaching your child negative patterns of behavior. And in so many ways, it's teaching your child that they are not worthy. So we're not preparing them for life in a way that can contribute it to them being productive members of society. Okay. So the first thing that I'm going to say that we need to start doing is self reflection that is honest. Okay. And I know that this is a hard one because a lot of people are like, all my self exploration, all of my self work that I do is honest. But the reality is, most of the work that we do as people in the black and brown community and as people in general, most of that will not be honest. It won't. Because in us being honest, we have to accept the flawed components of us that typically are just not what we would like for them to be as outcomes. Um, hey Jermaine, how are you? And so what that looks like is we have to look at how we handle our distress. We have to look at what our go-to is for handling arguments. We have to look at what our go-to is for dealing with people who reject us. We have to look at what our go-to is for looking into the systems that we value and the way that we interact with those systems that we say we value anyway. So those intimate partner relationships, those close family ties that we have in our nuclear family or family of origin, the people that are like our mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, right? And then extended family, the people who are like our um cousins, distant aunts and grandparents and things like that. And then we also have to look at the way that we evolve from that nuclear family or family of origin into other relationships that mean that we now have to attach ourselves to someone else and build something great. So I know for our young black men out there, that means so many things. I want to share with you guys today, when I was preparing for this show, I had watched one of Cynthia G's more recent videos and I watched it live. So she had shared, I guess this is her community wall or something like that. You guys know that I'm kind of getting accustomed to some of the things and some of the lingo and all that good stuff of YouTube. But she had shared another person's channel to her YouTube, right? And in this time that we were reviewing the content live together, because she was on here, I was paying very close attention to some of the things that she was, asking this woman. And this woman is a tarot card reader. She's a person who reads tarot cards live and talks about energy work and um one would say she's definitely experiencing a psychotic episode if we didn't take into consideration cultural factors that contribute to the norm criteria behavior if you're a part of that culture or religion or spiritual belief system, right? So during this time, I'm sitting with him and I'm watching Cynthia G pay homage and pay this woman to answer specific questions. And what I noticed in that, because like I told you guys, before I do a full on review of people, when you guys ask me to hold them accountable on this particular channel, one of the things that I like to do is study the way that they interact with their audience and study the way they interact with other people and study what some of the other people have come out and said about them as a result of hearing what they put out here, right? Cynthia G, man, she's mentioned before that her mother had, some level of an issue with the content in which she was putting out on the internet about black men at some point. And she also said that in follow up that her black mother understood at some point why she was putting up the content that she was putting up. So, what I want to say is this. If we're honestly self reflecting, we'll find ourselves questioning the things that we do. Even if we believe in the things that we do, even if we think that we're doing the right things. So, what I can say about this woman is at least she's trying to, even if she hasn't fully stepped into her alignment yet, right? She's trying to align herself with some level of confirmation that what she is doing and all of this content, this negative rhetoric that she's putting out about Black men on the internet is for something, right? And that's what I got from that because the questions that she was asking this woman were around a lot of the things that she talks about on her channel when she talks about devaluing Black men. Okay. She asked, do Black men really want Black women? That was one of the questions. So for a person that puts out consistently puts this stuff out into the atmosphere for other people to follow, and she has, how many followers does Cynthia G have, you guys? A lot of them. Is anybody who watches her channel consistently on here? Because let me see if I can go and look. What type of question is what? Hey, Knowledge TV, how are you? Let's see. Let me see if I can find how many followers she has on this page. Okay. Mm-mm. So the person's page that she was on asking these questions is the black no New World Tarot. Okay. Hey, Stranger Talk Live, how are you? Okay. I don't know how many of you, and I might play a little bit of this video. Okay, so you guys can kind of get the context. Sign now is an e-signature. I'm sorry, the context of what I'm discussing, what I'm talking about. Um, but I know Cynthia G has over 30,000 people following her page. Okay, and some of these people who follow her relentlessly, very much like the Kevin Samuels followers that are out there. And I find this stuff to be a little disturbing. And I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that that I saw. Right, right. And I want you guys to look and listen. Right, I'm going to play a recap of what happened today. So you guys are going to be able to see that and what I mean by honest self-reflection, right? Cuz maybe you guys can see her chat too. So basically what I was saying, I'm not sure if you were on then, but basically what I was explaining is that in order for us to be closer to our autonomy, one of the first things that we need to do is first be in some sit in self-reflection that's honest. So don't lie to yourself when you're doing your self-reflection. Be honest with yourself, because if you can't be honest with you, you definitely can't be honest with the rest of the world. So if you're doing honest self-reflection, it does have to look a certain way. Okay. I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, you can't control what my self reflection looks like, what I reflect on, and this and that, right? I mean, have you guys seen this lady before? Any of you familiar with her content? I'm going to go to the chat because I'm just going to go ahead and look for Cynthia G. So, you guys, are you watching? Do you guys see this content? Because these comments kind of followed after Cynthia G was asking. She kind of went down her particular lane and started to discuss some of the things that she wanted to know about Black men. These are the comments they're having right now about Black men. And these are women who are saying coming through with the good questions. So, but here's the thing. You guys are following Cynthia G. You guys are And I'm not talking to the people on this channel, but these people that are in these comments, they're following her. These are people who support her. And you see that now she is questioning everything that she's standing on while asking these questions of this woman who is portraying an accurate reading and conversation with the spirits. Okay. As a person who is extremely spiritually aligned myself, and I'm a deep rooted spiritualist and a seer, right? And a person who is trained to read tarot cards. I'm not going to say the realities of this because I feel like everybody who does what they do on YouTube, sometimes they're doing it for entertainment, okay? And that is what it is. But let's look at it. Isn't this something that she preaches and teaches already? Right? So if you're preaching this stuff, if this is what you're teaching, why would you have to ask a tarot card reader for any level of confirmation around it? But at least, like I said, it says that she's doing her honest self reflection. So we have to be honest in our reflective thoughts. So when we find ourselves doing things that are questionable, we find ourselves doing things that don't necessarily align with what we have on the inside of us. I think we talked about dissonance and the importance of dissonance, cognitive dissonance, when we talked about the inappropriation and misuse of the term by Kevin Samuels on one video. So, cognitive dissonance plays a huge role in us achieving autonomy and coming into a place of honest self reflection and acceptance radically of many things that shape us in our personality development, right? So, we see Cynthia G in this very dark place where she is not only toxic to herself, as one of the commenters talked about, but she's also toxic to the people who are around her. So if you're tethering yourself to that type of energy, if you're constantly finding it to be entertaining to be amongst that type of rhetoric, right? You're poisoning your energy center. So I think that people have to start now doing some extensive work and being honest with themselves about the type of content that we consider to be entertaining. And we have to ask ourselves, why do we find this stuff to be, why are we entertained by these things? Like what value do we see in these things? Let's go to another comment from Cynthia. Oh, I'm not there yet. So your chat, the chat replay probably goes off of the minute. So let me hit the play button. I'm gonna let you guys kind of take a listen to this because that way. Oh wait, I see some more down here. No, mm-mm. It's still not taking me to what I'm looking for. So wait a sec. Take a listen. Listen to this, and then you'll hear her talk about this the chats. The questions coming from Cynthia G. Oh yeah, that's why I'm all the way in the beginning of it. Okay, so I might move this in a little bit. Now let me see if I can see it. I don't want to go too far ahead to where I miss it. Are y'all looking at this? Hold on, let me look. Hold on, go back to it. Go back to the first comment when she says that the first thing a black man is going to say, "Look at your hair." Do you want to be a white woman? Yeah, but I think I don't think that she's lying. Let me say that. I think that, and I've said that before too on the show. I think that all too often black people are more concerned about what what the opposite sex is doing in a way that's not conducive to their outcomes. And we're going to talk about that today. Okay. So in your honest self reflections, you have to see what you see your inside of yourself that needs work. Okay. Let me see if I can find this comment that I'm looking for without having to play this video, because some of this video is just mm. She said, "What do black men really think about white men?" She asked that one. Hold on, I might find that other one. There are dusties everywhere. So she got everybody saying this. It's crazy. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna have to hit play. Yay me. So take a listen. Let's watch this.
Oh no, Cynthia! Oh my God, man, you asking all the right shit. They feel like they're very powerful and they have the power to lock them up whenever they want, beat their ass when they want, kill them when they want. This is a little bit weird.
Okay, before I finish playing the rest of this one, I want you guys to know what the question was that Cynthia G posed this time. This question was, do black men really want black women to submit to them? I want you guys to look at the tarot cards that she's playing. I want you to look at the tarot cards that she's presenting to the audience. And I know you guys are not tarot card readers. I know you guys don't understand what that's supposed to be about and how that spiritual bond and connection is actually a part of the spirit realm communicating with us in general and guiding us to a more seated understanding of the things that are underneath our questions, not the questions themselves. But we'll, that's a whole separate segment. But look at the cards and look how she's interpreting what it is that she feels her viewers are wanting to hear. And if you guys go back and you watch this on your own time, I also want you to just take a second and make some very clear observations. Okay. Some people are hurt. Some people see the inadequacies of themselves. Some people see the areas that need improvement within themselves, but some people will not step into their truth. Some people will not give their self permission to honestly explore themselves, to see the inadequacies for the purpose of self fulfillment and improvement. Okay. So I'm going to say that and then I'm going to hit this play button. So go ahead.
Weird. I mean, unless you're part of the LGBTQ community, I guess it wouldn't be. But they want to marry them motherfuckers. They want to be with them forever and ever and ever. Girl, they feel like they the king. You the boss.
Oh, these are the
You
men.
the boss.
She's talking about the men on this question.
And they like working for them.
White men.
That's what's on the inside part. And they were, oh God, child. They just said house niggas. So, oh man. Okay, so what they saying is anytime the black men who don't like being in this position where they want to marry them and they love them and they see them as the kings and all that, they send a spy. The black men come in as spies and dismantle everything. So the collective, they don't have a problem with that. I told you they want to marry. This is a marriage card. They want to marry them. They want to get married. Oh my God. Do they want to be like them? Cynthia, you in here playing? Lord have mercy. Oh my God. Do they want to be like them spirits? Do they want to be like these white men? Do they want to be like them? Even though I feel like you answered that question for me the other day, but they wasn't with me. So tell me, and Cynthia and everybody else, if they want to be like the white man. Do they want to be like them? Tell me. Woo! Shit. Oh, my. Okay, these all flipped in the reverse. I, Cynthia, where is you coming up with these questions? Damn, San, I know I heard you say this shit before. I really thought you was tripping on that part. I was like, she tripping. No, no. They do not want their position. This is the emperor. The emperor is a motherfucking boss, the leader, the ruler. Don't nobody fuck with the emperor. The emperor runs shit everywhere, all over the world. Do they want to be like them? This shit came in the reverse, girl. I am so done with you, Cynthia. The star card is a motherfucker with authority, somebody who got power, somebody who people look up to, somebody in the public eye, somebody who people respect, somebody who people honor. She came out in the reverse, girl. So with this question, this card is dealing with thoughts, right? So being trapped by your thoughts, they don't even think about trying to dismantle these people. They wouldn't even let the thought come in. They're too afraid to even think about trying to take their position. They're afraid to even fucking think it. I am so done with Cynthia damn G today. All these came in reverse. I'm just gonna show you upright. Girl. Queen of Pentacles came in the fucking reverse, okay? They are going to, whatever they can do to help aid them. Because, like, on this card, right, it's like everything's growing, everything prospering, money, all of that. They're basically saying we're in servitude to you. Whatever you need us to do to make sure you keep the money, your women stay in power, you stay in power, we got you. We got you. I can't, girl. And all the money they get, they get right back to them. All the fucking money they ain't got no money in the first place, but all the little bit of money that they get, they give it right back. They give it right back. They don't have no problem with this shit. Look, I am so fucking done. I am so fucking done. That last card, the Page of Wands in the reverse, means that they're putting forth any effort creatively to try to come up with any. So when you see the celebrities and you be like, oh, well, why are the basketball players not putting their money together and building a basketball camp? That is the farthest thing from their fucking mind. They is not thinking about trying to dismantle this system. They not trying to take down the white man. All of that shit that they be talking, standing on the corner like, oh yeah, y'all watch him, y'all gonna come back and fuck all y'all up. They can't even imagine that this system falling. The same way, I think somebody had said something in the chat earlier when Pharaoh let the people go in Egypt and the black men started moaning and complaining, and then during slavery, when the white men said that the slavery was abolished, all them black men start committing suicide and shit. It's the same thing. If the white we've been doing this coddling, he falls off his bike, you run, you go and get band-aids and stitch him up. No. Say, hey, go in there in the medicine. This generation Z, these some little sneaky, creepy little motherfuckers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the Gen Zs have recognized that the older generation of black males have failed the community, and they instead of a lot of them going with the status quo, running around acting a fool, going to jail, doing all this, a lot of them are sitting back thinking about going to college, thinking about opening businesses. They doing something behind the scenes that I don't really want to say because I don't need the other nations tapping into, nothing. But they doing some shit behind the scenes that's gonna make a big difference. But they are about to help dismantle this system. Okay. All right. You said Beauty is Her had a question too. Please answer. I want to know the answer to. Okay. Well, did she leave a super chat? Hold on. Let me see. I might not have got to that yet. Name one thing. This must be a Dusty. Name one thing black men have done which is more detrimental to the black community than the abuse black women inflict on black children. I'm sorry, for me to go that low vibrational, you're gonna have to come with more than $5. Thank you for the super chat. Fuck you. The fuck? Abuse of black children. Walking away is not abuse. Leaving your children with nothing is not abuse. Boy, get your ass out of here. Okay. Thank you for the super chat, Tia. Okay, wait a minute. I must have missed something. Okay, because I'm at the element R, and somebody is telling me that somebody else has.
I swear, like I cannot, you can't make this stuff up. Okay, so and I can't even. Okay, so let's keep it moving. All right. So the thing is, if you're a tarot card reader, the cards, the spirits will guide you to whatever it is that the spirit has to say to you. It's not about the directionality in which the questions shift your conversation. The cards will give you what it is the person needs to know around about sometimes the questions that they ask. And sometimes you won't even get close because if it has something to do with vibration, if we're talking about the energy sector, right? The spiritual energy is about guiding and shaping people to what is conducive for them and their agenda. That fits the reading, okay? Seers don't see everything, okay? We can't see the future. We can't see it, any of that stuff. We can see what it is that is necessary for us to see to help us align us with our greater purpose, but help also to align other people with their greater purpose when finding themselves conflicted, right? So the next one is going to be personal accountability. I know, right? Who said they need a drink? I need one too. I'm gonna have to go and have my producer bring out the wine. I'm gonna be unwinding. Y'all gonna be unwinding with Dr. J. Go get me some glass of wine. Yeah, I'm gonna need that because we got to go back to this chat because I want you guys to see all of Cynthia G's comments so you can see what I mean as far as my feeling like she definitely is trying. Okay, if that's what we're going to call it. She's trying to step into a place of honest self reflection, maybe because she is asking herself the difficult questions around what's guiding and shaping this content that I'm pushing out here, right? What's guiding and shaping this rhetoric? So the thing is, it's good that you have a content creator if they're that damn toxic that they're going back and they're questioning and their position that they're seated in because it does say that they're that means, I guess, what I'm trying to say. That means that she does intend to do good if there were good to be done, right? By being very negative and male bashing the males that help create you. That's what's interesting to me. Like a black male contributed to your creation. Can't make this stuff up, folks. You just cannot. So personal accountability is what's necessary as a result of honest self-reflection. So if we're honestly self-reflecting on the different elements that bring about positive influence and move our spirits into a place of conduciveness or just motivate us to get things going in any kind of way, right? If we're honest in that self-reflection, if we're honest in the way that we're toxic in our lives, that we're honest about the, you know, self-sabotage that we tend to do, if we're honest about what our experiences entail, then we do what needs to be done and we position ourselves in a different place. So let's hit play just for a sec here.
Had a question, but it was before the Dusty came in here trying to spread dust through my comments. Let me tell you something. You gonna have to come better than $5 if you think I'm finna sit here and come against Mother Earth when Mother Earth got the power to give and take away life. You got me fucked up. Okay, you do that to your own detriment. I'm straight. Y'all gonna run y'all mouth against these powerful ass beings if you want to. I'm not finna follow you to hell. Go by your damn self. I'm already cozy, bitch. I own my house, no mortgage. Did it all by my goddamn fucking self. And I say it for the people in the back too.
Okay, I'm glad that that part was able to be heard by you guys. So that's what I was talking about the validation component. So wait 1 second. I think we're getting closer to that comment now. All right.
Okay, that was Mackenzie. Wait, what are you talking about, boo? I don't see no question from nobody. Hold on, y'all. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't forget nobody. Hold on a second. Because they talking about somebody had a question that I didn't answer, but I ain't see no damn super chat, so I ain't saw. Shit. Um, nah, boo. Whoever asked whatever they asked didn't leave no damn super chat, so I didn't damn stop. If you want me to stop with all of these people in this chat box, you're gonna have to send a fucking super chat. The super chats light up. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I'm sorry. Whoever was, whatever question you asked, baby, it's lost. It's lost in all of it. It's too much going on. I can't find it. So you have to super chat me so to highlight it. All right, what was that? Okay, that was Essie. I did her. Um, trying to get me to speak against the divine mother of all creation. Fuck you, bitch. You sending me to fucking hell with gasoline draws. Hey, I worship them. I will. That's who the fuck you supposed to be worshiping, dummy. Wait, I think I was at Beauty is Her. Okay, yes. Okay, Beauty is Her. I'm at your question. Are other races of women jealous of black women? And if so, is it because black men? And you want to know, will black women create their own nation? Well, we already a nation. I'm not answering the second question because we already a nation, baby. I'm not answering the second question. Are other races of women jealous of black women? I mean, if we go by what we see, it's kind of obvious. But let's ask spirits because I don't know shit. All right, spirit. Are other races of women jealous of black women? And if so, why? Are other nations of women jealous of black women? And if so, why? Are other nations of women jealous of black women?
So a couple of things, okay. Mr. Brooks, I don't think anybody that I know would, okay. But uh, here's what I'm going to say. You know, I don't even encourage, substance use at all. I think that maybe somebody should do like the person on there and one of the viewers here who said they needed some drinks to listen to this. Oh, Mr. Brooks. Okay, yeah. You need a drink. There you go. I had to get look, my producer got me some wine. It's necessary for this. But somebody on there suggested, somebody said, and this is in the middle of the day, by the way. This was recorded in the middle of the day, and she was drinking in the middle of the day. So it obviously resonated in a way with her. So if black women are asking these types of questions, but the overall consensus brown community is that black men are no longer desiring to be married to black my bad, you guys. I gotta my computer instead of connecting via the Wi-Fi. Sometimes I forget these things. It's in there, right? Okay. Is follow it to here? Is it plugged into here? Okay. Before I switch. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter which one you put it in. 1 sec, you guys. I'm gonna make sure my connection is more stable because my internet, the Wi-Fi is slower than a direct connection, right? So is it the one that you follow? Did you follow the cord from here? Okay. 1 sec. Okay, much better. So, thanks for working with me through as he's navigating learning how to use technology, right? That's not his thing, by the way. But so especially chords, okay? But so now we should be stable to go through this. However, what I'm saying is this: if black women have that position and black men have that position, they have no desire to be with one another, then why would you be concerned with the business affairs of the other? I think earlier there was something that Knowledge TV was speaking to when he said that even though some men may not say it, that's what they're thinking. Here's the thing: as men, you're supposed to do as men do. So you're supposed to concern yourself with things around your manhood. You are supposed to be worried about doing the things that increase the leadership and the governance and the position that you're seated in as men. It was interesting that one of the questions that was asked was, what do black men feel about white men? And do they want to be like them? And why would you ask that question? Like, why is that any of your business as a black woman? Women have to, in our black community, have to seat themselves in the proper position as well and have to understand that a black man's business and the way that he handles affairs related to his manhood and the way he's represented in this world, that's his business. The way that he represents himself as a man, as the leader of your family, however, that's what your business. So the thing is, why are black men and black women so consumed with trying to negotiate contracts that allow them a one up on one another? Why is this competition something that we continue to seat ourselves in and we continue to find entertainment in? That's very interesting to me. Um, So let me look. She does not represent all black women, but these are the ones that get the most attention from other races and why black men are walking away. I agree. I feel the same way about Kevin Samuels. Um, oh boy. And when we move, are we on accountability yet? Mm-mm. So let me move to the next tip, right, around personal accountability. If we're honest in our self reflections, it leads to personal accountability, not necessarily responsibility, but accountability. And I talked about the difference between the two earlier today. So if you guys didn't catch out the earlier video, I suggest that you go do that so you can have a really expounded, look and view on what the difference between responsibility and accountability are, because I feel like I've had that conversation so many times in so many other previous shows as well. But so he said, I would never want to be a white man. That's crazy to me that a sister is asking. Oh, that's the one you were looking at. Okay, got it. Perfect. And that's interesting to me that women want to know the answer to that question because there you go. Right. Like what type of experiences in your life are required for you to have those types of thoughts? That's what I'm thinking. Like, what kind of negative experiences with males, what kind of deflection is taking place that seats you in a space where you're trying to say that black men are envious of another man? And it was interesting to me how this young lady who's reading these tarot cards or portraying to read them, it's interesting how her rhetoric is that black men, and she's reading the same cards that I'm looking at, right? And reflectively on the surface, what you can see clearly is that there is no battle of the two. If there were battle between black men and white men, or in a black man's consciousness, as it's directed to white men, the tarot cards would give yield swords, several swords on the battlefield. Okay. Um, the thing is this, it's not there. You know why? And there is no intimate infatuation either. So you don't see any hearts or anything like that. What's there, what it's saying is that Black men don't want to start a race war because at the end of the day, they realize that they're an integral part of the puzzle, and so are these other men of a different color or race. The infatuation and obsession with having to overthrow a color of people is ridiculous for the vast majority of black men. It says the vast majority of black men are logical enough in their thought processes that they understand that everybody in this world has to learn how to coexist without violence. If the black woman is pushing her black man in towards battle and violence and chaos, what happens is our families become unseated. So if we're taking accountability as black women to having that type of energy and hoping our black men come forth and unseat these people who are in their positions just because they're white, there are some serious levels of accountability we need to start taking on our personal reflection journey, and we need to start unseating some of that behavior, some of those thought patterns that are negative that keep us in these same spaces. That's what the crab in the buckets mindset, crab in a barrel mindset is centered around. Nobody wants to see anybody else make it to the top because they're not at the top yet, so you want that instant gratification. We cannot seat ourselves in instant gratification because there has to be hard work behind things in order for us, especially as black and brown people, to value them, because we come from people who valued life. Whether you're from native roots originally and you don't know that because you're the vast majority of your composition is made up of Asian and natives, or you're from slave ancestor roots and you come from Africa as an origin and you're connected there. Hard work is a part of the process. Personal accountability is necessary for us to move into a place of radical acceptance so that we can start to make the plans that lead to us stepping into new places of resiliency, stepping into new places of productivity. These are necessary components here. Okay. So radical acceptance doesn't mean we accept the world as it is and we lay down or go along to get along. Radical acceptance means that we, after doing that honest self reflection and taking personal accountability for the things that we've contributed to, and by way of taking personal accountability, taking those lessons of life so we can move to a place of application of those lessons. If we're going to radically accept some things, we have to come to terms that these are things that exist, and whether we want them to exist or not, they're here. As a result, we need to take that into account as we get ready to move to the next phase and be resilient in our stance for greatness and start to seat ourselves in our game plan construction, which is the next one. We have to be able to vet a viable game plan to change what we see in our honest self reflection as a result of taking personal accountability as things that we have possibly rendered some level of responsibility for the things existing, but the things are in misalignment with our outcomes. So it goes back to emotional distress management. We have to learn how to gauge the way these things make us feel when we come into the acceptance of these things or the cognizance of this thing. Okay. So let me hear it play for just a minute. I really want to find these questions from Cynthia G.
And then if so, why? Are other nations and women? Mm. Tell me more. Hold up. I gotta put these a certain kind of way. Yeah, I'm sorry. I ain't got no table or nothing in this
You
bitch.
want some wine?
Oh shit.
No.
Mm.
Are you sure? You look like you do.
Oh,
That look.
okay. All right. So it's a two-part answer. Yes and no. Right. Okay.
Hmm?
So yeah. Right.
Feel
They
the
are.
journey.
Because what they're starting to see is that without us, we make the world go round, right?
Really?
This is what they're showing.
Oh, yeah?
We make the world go round, and regardless to whatever it is that you see in front of you right now, our condition and what's happening, how they treat us and going to jail and all that other shit and treating you bad on the job and all of that, they know for a fact that we are to be exalted. They know who the HBIC is. Okay, they know we the head bitches in charge. They know it. They feel it. They don't like it, but they feel it. So their jealousy is of our position spiritually. They may not know why they act the way that they act, but they're let me show you. So look, right? You got two queens here, right? You got the Queen of Pentacles, you got the Queen of Wands. Look at the way the Queen of Wands is looking at the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is like the one who look at her throne. It's been there for the ancients, the ancient of days. It's been there. It never went anywhere. Never went anywhere. The other nations had to work. They had to be creative. They had to figure out how to get her out of her position, how to, ruin her, how to sleep with her man and do all this other bullshit in order to get her dismantled and all of this shit. So this is what they did, right?
Okay, now think about it. Kel needs to indulge me and take some of this wine. He needs to have some of this wine over here, you guys. He's not going for it though. But so think about this. Why is it that so many of these people in this comment section are having conversations around insecurity? Why do you need to feel grandiose? Why do you need to feel elevated? Why do you need to feel expansive over somebody else in order for you to feel validated, period? So your validation should come from self. Let's see. She talked about the black woman being in disarray because someone would sleep with her man. What level of maturation are you saying a black woman does or does not possess? I'm just trying to figure out, because if a black woman who is supposed to be the compass of a black man by way of default of marital roles and relational gender roles, okay, if she becomes dismantled because somebody is sleeping with her husband, what type of advisor is she? The difference between a man and a woman, although you guys get that stuff misconstrued so many times when it comes to stability on an emotional level, is this: a woman is naturally geared up to be more emotionally expressive, not emotionally moved. Okay. Men are naturally more emotionally moved. How do you think men are able to channel their energy at wartime? Right? That's the it's a necessary component to masculinity. And what happens is when a man feels slighted, he feels pain. He feel because there are only two primary emotions. There is only pain and euphoria, right? So as a result of those primary emotions, you feel these are your feelings. You have feelings. So your feelings are hurt, you're feeling angry, your feelings are feeling, justified, and you feel good in the space. So you feel eccentric, you feel happy, you feel wanted, loved, whatever, right? Help me help you help us. That's how I'm feeling watching this. The thing is, you cannot belittle the black man without having to first take accountability and then belittle yourself. A black man and a black woman are interdependent on one another just by way of the fact that they're men and women. If we're bringing this down to the subculture of black people only, then we recognize that there is value in the interdependence of the black man and the black woman for the safety and the stability and the continuation of the lineage of black culture in America. But first we have to seat ourselves in the culture. So in our personal truths, so we can create a game plan as to how we're going to seat ourselves amongst more favorable outcomes, because we've done the work, we've done the self exploration, we found out the parts of us that needed to be cultivated a little bit more, we found out the roots that needed to be plucked a little more in those relational dealings that we have in life that are preventing us from moving forward in life because we stay in a place of non-reality. either in the past or so far in the future that we can't be here for our present realities, right? So we can't reflect and we can't learn. Okay. So I still can't find that comment, you guys. Joy, that speaks volumes. Okay. But I'm curious as to why it is that we as black and brown people in our discord, even if we are so emotionally distraught, right? Why do we find and gravitate to negative commentary that devalues us? Because in the grand scheme of things, I think we're having a problem with seeing our truth, because if our black man is devalued, so is our black woman. I need you guys to hear me. Okay. If our black man is devalued, so is our black woman. So, in our honest self reflection, women, if what we are doing is seeing that there are huge deficits in our black kings, what we need to be doing in our game plan construction on our part is reseating and reaffirming our black kings, because that's our job, is to give them what they need to go forth and be great and produce fruit and protect our community. That's who we are. If we vacate that because we are broken, because we are hurt, because we are slighted, because we feel lesser than, and the way that we combat that is like small children on a fucking playground, and we want to hit them, right? We want to hit them with words because we know that our words and our reflections and our actions have the power to tear them down on the inside. Okay, we have to think about what the boomerang effect is going to be on us, because the thing is, women were definitely giving the power of manipulation, the art of maneuverability in relationships for the betterment of their seated position of their man. Okay, that's a woman's natural gift. So if you're going to use your natural gift to tear this man down, and he is meant to go out and represent you, he is meant to be the idea representation of you, he is meant to protect you, right? What are you setting yourself up for? Hey, Beverly, how are you? What are you setting yourself up for? But more importantly, what about your sons? What about your daughters? Because you're not, I heard somebody say, and this spoke volumes to me. I heard somebody say, men won't give us validation. So they're not thinking about their sons, because we need men to give us validation so that we can provide protection for their sons. Who raised you, women? That's my question. Who raised you? Who is responsible for this atrocity that has come across amongst the Black American culture? It is not your job to protect. It is not. It is not your job to provide. It is not. No white man took the black woman out of the house. I mean, the black man out of the household and put him in prison, and made the black woman step out of the household and go and work two jobs so that they could dismantle the black community. If that's what you saw that as, you failed your family the moment your thoughts shifted to that framework. Sometimes you have to work two jobs. Sometimes your husband and you are both going to have to work two jobs. Sometimes your husband's going to have to work two jobs. Sometimes somebody's got to work two and three jobs, but you're supposed to still be there for the psychosocial development, support, cultivation, and molding of that child. The husband is there. The man is there for the protection and the provisions of that child. What I don't understand is how it is that we can get these types of thoughts going and we can give them confirmation, but we can't do the same thing for positive thoughts. We can't create a game plan around positivity. We're drawn to negative energy consistently. And not only are we drawn to it, we stay in it. It becomes our truth. It literally permeates everything that we stand for, and we no longer have a value system because, like I talked earlier, nobody is seated or rooted in proper cultural identity or religious or spiritual practices that will keep them grounded and having some level of allegiance to something greater than themselves in this world. That's the reason people go to suicide so easily and don't come out of those bouts. They don't feel like there is anything else after. They don't feel any hope for the future. They don't feel like they can produce better outcomes, a more efficient outcomes, a more effective outcomes. So they never get to the part of developing a game plan because they have nothing to plan around. No motivation or low motivation leads to nothingness consistently. It's been proven over and over. We see it in our outcomes, but we still maintain those same negative cycles of behavior. Because when we get to the factor of radical acceptance, after we take personal accountability typically leads us away from radical acceptance, and we never can step fully into accepting that these things are things because we refuse to call them a thing. And then we start to go to this name calling and shaming of these people that make us feel less validated, right? And then as a result of that, we never get here to construct a plan because our plan becomes the degradation of the other component because that's the healthy distraction. We're going to deter attention from, we're going to deflect accountability from our inadequacies, and we're going to push them on to someone else because we found another person that looks like they're a good person to blame, a good group of people to blame. Okay, they give us a good excuse. I agree, but two-parent households aren't the issue. I'm just going to be honest. There are lots of cultures where there is only one parent in the household. Death comes to the man, or the man does adapt and get another family, or the mom gets adapts and gets another family, or dies. But so it's about the mindset of the multi-parent system. So if you have a parental hold on mindset, you understand that it takes a system to raise a child, not just two parents. That means that you lean and depend in a healthy way on the grandparents' knowledge, which are your parents and their other parents' parents. That means that you lean and depend on the, the efficiency of the school system because the school system also has a role to play in adequate raising, maturation, growth, and knowledge yielding of your child. Okay, so the next step is to follow through. We have to follow through. We got to be people that follow through. So I want you guys to follow through the same way you follow through and come and watch these YouTube videos of negative content creators like this woman right here who's
They
clearly
started
broken.
the ones that are jealous. Beauty is her. Yeah, yeah. It's what they feel like is that if they take our men, if they take black men from us, it'll make them feel better. It'll make them feel better. They like, well, let me just stab these bitches in the back and take them in and have black babies and see how the fuck they feel about that. Since they think they such fucking queens and shit, right? But at night, when they really sit back, when they read, when they research, when they look at us, when they pay attention to life and where everything comes from and how it operates and where they get their swag from and why black dudes like them and what's the reason for all this shit going on in the world, they know it. They know who it is. They know who it is.
Okay, so let's talk about an alternative perception here. Okay, maybe it means that these women, the perception of black women in relation to these women are that these women are stabbing them in the back. So that's why they're distrustful of these women because they've been vicariously traumatized. You just can't make this stuff up. I just don't. You guys will follow anything. They say, stand for something or you'll fall for anything.
It is because of black women. They know it, so yes and no. Like, yeah, they jealous, but I mean, is it particularly because of black men? Not necessarily. A lot of it has to do with power and position, and it's spiritual. It's not our physical position that we're in right now. It's spiritually. Like, they know who the fuck we are. They know they come from us. They know that we will be worshipped. They know we will be exalted. They know their men love us. They know. They fucking know. So they're like, well, fuck it. We
So why is it that black women are seeking validation from white women or non-black women, and yet you're on a panel and you guys are all having a very comprehensive discussion about black men? This one was really interesting to me. It was interesting when she asked, because I think she gets to this, but I'm not sure I'm going to be on here to show you guys that part because I'm literally looking for this one comment from Cynthia G. But and she could have done it without the super chat. So let me start looking more. Yeah, she wants validation that her content has some level of, confirmation from an outside source saying that she's right about, some of the missteps, some of the misconceptualizations she has about black men. Okay, and it's interesting to me that she's here and looking for all of this validation in this woman, for a couple of reasons. Okay, for a couple of reasons. But why is it that in the same conversation you guys are trying to talk about men, right? You're seeking validation for women, black women, and you're trying to make black women look like you know, the idol of white women. Why are you looking for a comparison? Why do you care about their interactions with the black man if that black man is not your black man? Every black man is not for you. He is of you, but not for you. And that's what I try to explain to women all the time. Like, you can't associate the things that men do with who you are. You don't see any other race of women doing this. Nobody else does that. Why are there so many insecurities in black women of modern day generations? It's beyond me. Like, we want to draw conclusions and lineage, and we want to draw comparisons to slavery. We are so far removed from slavery, people. If you have not awakened yourself and your senses and your ego and your direction by now, you definitely need to sit with a therapist. They need to get to the root of that vicarious trauma and uproot it and rid you of it to help you get to a better or more functional place of being, right? So the next one is consistency, you guys. Please be consistent in the way that you follow through and continue to follow through with the plan that you've developed for you to seat yourself amongst greater, better outcomes, right? Um, and I guess the best way to be consistent is to keep the outcome ever present. So if you're constantly looking at the outcomes, if you see yourself in your outcomes, if you see where you're going, like a lot of people look at these very dark places, these dark spaces where all of their trauma take place, where they have been hurt, where their efforts have been hindered, where they've been blocked from moving into spaces that they felt like they were prepared to occupy in their life, right? But maybe they weren't. Because here's the thing, when we're honest in our self-reflection, then we tell ourselves the truth. We don't tell ourselves little lies anymore. Okay, that means our truth comes out. And we may find that where we applied for that job, right, we had no experience. We had no real life experience, and we had no on the job training. We had no past experience, and we were not suited for that position that we were trying to seat ourselves in. But we just figured, okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna see what happens, and I can grow into it. But that wasn't appropriate for a person who was trying to grow into a space. That position was more appropriate for a person that had done the work and therefore prepared themselves to be qualified for it. So life will yield you lessons and experiences. Those dark moments, those clouds of darkness will reposition you so that you can be ready to receive those things that you saw as blessings before, but they were potential blessings in reality. So it's now time for you to go back and receive your blessings, because now you are seated in greatness and you're ready to root and do great things in that position, right? So Keep your outcome ever present. And that is my last tip. If you guys want the link to that very interesting video, I know I've showed you guys her channel, right? Like, if you want the link to it, I'll post it, but I don't promote foolery. I'm sorry. Kind of not my thing. But if you want it, I'm more than willing to post it or whatever for you guys. I'm going to go over the suggestions one quick time here um, for you guys again. One sec. You said, I really did that for a job, but it worked out. Right, right. So that's what I'm saying. So it is a behavior that we do commonly. It is. But sometimes that particular job isn't one that, allows us to fake it until we make it per se, right? Some jobs require us to literally come in there prepared for what that comes with, right? And if you're not prepared for what that comes with, sometimes you can do more harm than good. I say it all the time for novice clinicians, right? Therapists think that when they go to school, they have everything that they need to come out here and help someone, right? And they're really motivated to do it. But in this field, it requires a person that is seasoned to do trauma informed work, or it requires a person who is a systemic practitioner, because it takes us a lot longer to complete the basic course education requirements, and also we have a more extensive direct person to person contact during our clinical time face to face at the end of our program to see people. It's structured differently for a reason, because we have to master over 400 theoretical frameworks and really understand the diagnostic components very intimately. And we also have to understand human behavior and physiology and clinical pharmacology. There are a lot of things that go into being a systemic practitioner versus a counselor. So that's what I try and talk to people about when they're trying to choose a practitioner. So it depends on what it is that you are dealing with, depends on what it is that you're going through when you choose the right person for you to go to for healing, right? You say I'm a chef, so you can't cheat that type of job. Either you can do the work or you can't. Not necessarily, right? So what is it? The sous chef is a position that sometimes you have to have had like a significant amount of time underneath the guidance of a person that is a master chef. Is that what they call them? I don't know. I was watching Hell's Kitchen like twice, so I don't know the technical terms, all right? It's not my area of expertise. But I learned a lot from watching that, because I was like, man, how hard is it to get in the kitchen and just damn cook the food? Just cook the food right. And I still get frustrated when I go to restaurants and they can't get my food right. but I feel the same way. But so what I'm saying is, like, some of these positions we're ready for to step in, and we can fake it until we make it, because the on the job training is sufficient, to be honest. But some jobs require us to be properly seated. Okay, see, you have a culinary degree. That's your specialty area. I will have to digress to you for the answers. I don't have it. That's not it. But I can definitely get around in the kitchen. But you asked me about the technical terms, about the actual people that are supposed to be in there in different capacities and stuff like that, and asked me what different types of knives are. I don't know what those are, but I just know which ones I need to accomplish the task of these large meals that I serve for my family and for events and stuff like that I'm preparing meals for, cultural dishes. So, you know, Finnish culture is a little different than American culture, but the food's great. It just takes time. But so let me go back over these. If we're going to increase personal accountability standards in the Black community, people, here are my tips for you to achieve autonomy. Self reflection, that is honest. So, honest self reflection is definitely needed. You need to be evaluating all the different areas in which you operate in your life. So, family, leisure activity, friends and social activities, work and workplace activities, stranger danger is what I call it, or making acquaintances with new people and tethering yourself and networking with other people. Those are the different areas that you need to be evaluating. You need to be evaluating on the scale of 1 to 10 how much you value these different areas. Now, as a result of what the value yields, the things that are top at the top of your list, right? So the one thing that's all the way at the top, and then the one thing that's all the way at the bottom, you need to be intentional. Take personal accountability of how these things find themselves seated at your top of your list or at the bottom tier of your list. And then as a result of that, you need to do like some committed actions, right? That lead to radical acceptance or a more prevalent radical acceptance about around the things that you've taken accountability for and you've decided to change as a result of what that yields, right? And then don't get blinded. Understand that comparisons to other people can definitely lead to detriment of self in these particular situations. You only want to keep yourself compared to you, your previous versions of you, where you're evolving to, if you will, and where you currently are in your life. So after we've reached and stepped into radical acceptance by way of positive reaffirmation, so telling ourselves that, yeah, this thing was a thing. I've called this thing a thing in personal accountability. I know it's something that I'm doing that I need work on. And I've committed myself to doing this work, right? Now, as you're moving into radical acceptance and in its authenticity, what we're going to do is allow ourselves the space and permission to create a game plan that is effective in moving forward with the outcomes that we see we would like to have as a result of what we found out about ourselves. Okay. So that's the game plan construction, right? During this process, please be sure to keep your emotional distress managed, because if you do not, you will reconstruct and reconstruct and reconstruct your plan. Okay. Second guess everything that you find yourself indulging in as a result of your reflections. Sort of like Cynthia G. I'm not sure how effective it's working for her since she's got somebody pandering to her, but it is what it is. So if you keep your emotional distress in management and you're keeping yourself balanced and tethered, the reality is this: it won't yield negative outcomes. You won't be out here bashing someone else because you decided that as a result of your positive self-reflections, you wanted to go out here and help other people and put out as much education that you could into the atmosphere, right? So you won't be putting out negative entertainment information, and you won't be seeding to the craziness that goes to much of what maintains the negative behaviors in the Black community. Remember to follow through with your plan. Set realistic goals to evaluate whether or not you're following through. Be honest with yourself about if you're not following through, and then get back on the train if you've gotten off the train, and remain consistent. Okay. You remain consistent, like I said, by keeping the outcomes ever present. I hope that this has been beneficial for you guys. I really appreciate you guys for taking the time and sitting through this video with me and sitting through this energy center with me. I absolutely love you guys. Shout out to the chat. You guys are always great. You're very supportive. You're always engaging. Continue to go out there, be great, to live free and live a life that is surrounded around validation from you and not from everybody else around you. Okay. So that's all I've got, you guys. See you guys later. Bye.
Who alive can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I rip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a Scotch bunny. Don't try studying me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.